conversation, and really it's just really the wow factor is being able to master the art of a conversation that gives you, for those who are taking really, it gives you your own identity. You need an identity conversation that allows you the mastery of enrollment, registration, and activation. That identity conversation, for example, if somebody asks me who I am, I'm an architect, because it immediately enrolls people to ask, so what do you build? So I build lives and I build businesses. I build residual income. I build leverage. I build wealth. I help people that want to be helped within these realms. If you said I'm a CPA, then you're going to be counting somebody's money. If you said that I'm in real estate, then it's depending on what side of the fence you're on. But you want something that gives you an identity that builds into a conversation. And then at the same time, you need to be able to show up. Owning a business within the business means that you have to create an identity that builds the largest parts, if you will, the largest portion of that business that brings it to you. Like, for example, if you see the White House, there's a lot of buildings and a lot of houses and a lot of things that are around the White House, but all you know about is the White House. And unless you've been to DC and you understand, it doesn't matter what hotel, Asteria, or if you're talking about, the Ritz, there's certain portions, or, that when you look at the Vatican, there's a lot of property where the Vatican is, but there's one portion that takes up everything. You have the opportunity to build a business within a business to have the biggest portion of the business, the biggest piece of the pie that allows you to be able to give yourself your own identity within an identity, meaning all the rest of the work and all the rest of the lay of the land has been built for you. All you have to do is plug and play and build as large as you like and take home the lion's share that will change your family tree and legacy. Nod your head if that's making a little sense. You guys with me on that so far? So, okay, well, how do I do that? Sounds great. Sounds sexy. Okay. Well, the first question is, are you registered for Texas? That'll be my first question. How do you get that lion's share? Second question is, how big of the building do you want? So if we're building real estate and you're going to, I believe it's March 10th and 11th, by yourself. I hope you guys, I hope one person pays attention to this. If you're going by yourself, what you're saying is, I only want a studio apartment within a massive construction piece, within a massive real estate piece, within a multi-billion-dollar pie. I only want to take home really a couple $100, $1,000 a month. That's how much of the share I want. If you take 3 or 4 people with you, then what you're saying is, I want an apartment. If you're brand new, I would get a starter's kit and say, I want a condominium, and take about 10 people with me. What I do know is, until you decide you want a condominium within this property, this multi-billion-dollar property, and until you want a condominium, you'll never have a house. So if I'm starting from scratch, I want at least a condo, because the condo gives me the blueprint to the layout of the new development that is about to be developed. I have no reason to show, if I already have built the land worth billions of dollars and I have a blueprint for expansion, these plans, this new development, to somebody who wants a studio or apartment. I'll just get paid off of them. But a person that sees themselves expanding and say, hey, I'm going to bring something to the table to help build this. I'm going to bring me 10 people, and we're going to start on an upstairs, downstairs condo with a jacuzzi. We want to make sure that we have everything in place. We want a sunken tub, a jacuzzi tub. We want to make sure that we want where it's going to expand, where we could actually, because by 10 people, they're going to all need their own condo. So we're going to start expanding, because when we come back to the next one, we're bringing 100. Minimum of 50. The law of numbers says, if you take 10, proven record of over 25 years of doing this business, if I take 10, 50 minimum are coming back without me. See, I need the business to grow without me. That's the key. The operative in this conversation is getting the business to grow without me. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to put in at least 2 years of strong sweat equity so I can get 10 years of massive wealth coming back to me, massive residual income coming back to me. I want to reverse engineer the process so that the business works for me, so that I don't have to work for the business. Now, in order to do that, I have to put in 2 years of just minimum 2 to 3 years. It depends on how much of the lion's share you want. The bigger lion's share you want, the bigger revenue you want, the bigger team you're going to need, the bigger team you're going to need to be able to stir the cement, get the bricks, lay it out, follow the blueprint, make sure people are watching as far as the dimensions and the measurements are concerned. Then you're going to need more eyes to be able to understand the slopes, the land, how you're building, how deep to excavate, who's going to go get the machinery. You're going to need a squad, and that's going to start with a minimum of 10. Now I can take you seriously, and everybody in the community can take you seriously because they see you're coming to contribute to a dynasty that's going to last for another 30 years. See, the dynasty has already existed for 30 years without you or me. It was going to be built with or without you or me. And the next 30 years, doesn't really care what you do. It's going to be up to you. But the next 5 years is going to build the next 25. The next 5 years is going to determine, this is the only space, the only industry, the only place on this planet Earth that I know of that you can lay and stake your claim as if you just rode up on Plymouth Rock and claim as much territory as you choose to for your family, and it continue to leverage and pay out over and 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 over, and you get tired of receiving the residual income, then in turn I'll give you my address, because I've been able to count on it better than any insurance policy that you can think of for over 28 years. The company started in 93. I started in 95. So I'm not telling you a hypothetical, a theoretical, a possibility. Let's see. I'm telling you from fact that if you do what you need to do, this company has always done what it, as opposed to all the other companies that don't even exist anymore. All the other companies, good, bad, and ugly, I don't care what one's opinion is. This has been the most, this is, you know what, this is more dependable than the government taxing you. That's a hell of a statement right there. It's pretty amazing. So what I'm telling you is March 10th and 11th, you have the opportunity. And one of the things I shared earlier this week, I want you to imagine if you had a conversation and God took you just for a minute. You never know when you're going to have a heart attack. You never know when something's going to happen to someone you love, or you contract something. And I don't wish that on anybody, but I want you to imagine for a second that, you know, and it's amazing because people don't believe their life can change in a split second. When I met this wife, I call it my wife for life, ACN. When I met this wife and I married her, and she impregnated me with a lifestyle that I would not have ever understood without her, birthing my dreams. Within that split second that I met this company, it changed my entire landscape of my life. Now, I don't know if you really get that, but I'm going to start just with just a handful of people. My life, I promise you on everything, you know, and I scream at myself before I have conversations about this entire gamut. I have to, because one of the things that I am very committed to is an integrative conversation and talking from a fiber and a fabric of integrity. And I sometimes have to really look at my conversation. Is that making sense? Are you guys with me? Are you guys following me on that? Because there's good, bad, and ugly in every situation. But this is one of the most ridiculous, clear conversations I've had with myself over the years. Had I not met this woman, I call ACM, this woman who allowed me to birth my dreams, my life would not be the same. It would be impossible for it to be the same, because my entire life changed because of Al Thomas. I say that with every fiber of my body, my entire life changed because of a Renata Krumer. There are people that are in my life that would not be in my life that are part of my dream, part of my cabinet, part of my family. When you're grown, you get to choose your family. And I'm not talking family like most people talk family, like you build, your organization and a tribe and business and your downline. No. I'm talking about way beyond the confines and the boundaries of a name, of people who truly care about me, pray for me, pray for mine, love me for who I am, not what I have, not for the title, not for any of the BS that follows. All the things that you would like to transcend past and have at your table, to not ever have to second guess people that have resources that will go the extra mile for you. I can honestly say, I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying it's not because he's an SVP or she's an RVP or titles. I'm saying my life would not be the same without a handful of people that help carve me into who I am, either by example, by their love, or by their support, or taking a stand for me when I couldn't take a stand for myself. And I think people miss that is the most valuable asset, is to have a tribe that you see. The reason why people quit is because they aren't accountable to anybody. The reason why people quit is because they don't have anybody to quit on but themselves. They've done it their whole lives. See, when you have a tribe of people who believe in you, who trust you, who love you, in front of you, behind you, to your left and right, beyond what line you're in, which is beyond adjectives, what Ms. Al Thomas does for each one of you, and provide this space, which until a person puts their blood into it, you won't understand the value of this call. Until you have lost and gained at the highest frequency, at the highest level of living, will you understand what these calls and what he's doing and what this space that he's hosting will do. I know for a fact, you can talk about health, tequila, wine. You could talk about family, dysfunctional or healthy, and everybody's gonna have an opinion. I could talk about this space that I'm talking about, and everybody's gonna think they know what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna tell you how foreign it really is, of why I'm driving this down through the coffin. Because to a man, if you talk to him about pregnancy, even if he's an OBYG, unless there's no unless. There's no way a man's gonna be able to know what it's like to birth a child. It's not gonna happen. No matter what you do, what you've been through, how much you've studied, how many rooms you've been in, how many children you gave birth to because you're the doctor. You're a doctor, this is a midwife. You took on the title as a man. You've seen all this, whatever. You cannot know what it's like to birth a child because you are not a woman. So until you walk this path, and this mile that I'm talking, will you understand how valuable this space is, to protect it, develop it, build it, treasure it, show your contribution, show your value, show your appreciation through your adding value to it and adding people to it and bringing people to the table? Does that make sense? Are you guys following me so far? Right? So in these last 5 minutes, what I really want you to get more than anything else is we move through life praying and asking God to bring us certain people. But when he brings them, can you recognize them? When he brings them, can you really identify them? Because you can't identify something you're not. You say, I want a bunch of leaders, but you aren't the leader that you need to be, so you can't attract the leader you want to attract. And how far have you gone into developing and investing in your soul and who you are? What price, for example, how much have you budgeted this year for self-development? You know how much your rent is or how much your mortgage is. You know exactly how much it takes to fill up the tank of your car. If you're going on a vacation to the DR, Dominican Republic, or if you're going to Cabo, or if you're going somewhere with your family, you know the price tag it's going to take to be able to get the airline ticket and everything else. It's 2023. And you and I are sitting on one-on-one. And my question to you is, open up your vision board, open up your journal, open up your ledger, and let me see how much money, how much you've budgeted. I bet you I'll see for January and February your mortgage or your rent. There you go. I love you, Al. So I bet you I'll see that. I want to know, if I saw you, not what Al Thomas does on a daily basis, but yourself, how much did you allocate in January for your development? See, I could tell if you're going to be a giant based on me looking at your budget of what you spent last month in January. We're going into the end of February. I want to look at how much money you have invested in your self-development this month. And don't tell me you spent $30 on a book. I want to see if your ticket is already purchased for Texas. I want to see if your room is already taken care of for March. I want to see what other, outside of what is mandated, outside of what is already called upon, what's expected. See, there are two things that I really love in life, that I love more than anything else. Accomplishing what I set out to do, which gives the end result of blessings and a sense of accomplishment. And when I set it out and I intentionally live on purpose and passion, the other side of that coin of what happens is serendipitous. Serendipity, if you don't know the word, I need you to write it down for this month. That's your word for the month. It's my word for the year. Serendipity moments happen when I do everything that I was supposed to do on intention. And then in turn, everything that is unexpected happens exponentially to bless myself and everyone else around me. There is nothing more gorgeous than serendipitous moments that are just, but they don't just haphazardly happen. That's the power of the subconscious. That's the power of intentionally going out there and charting a course. That's being the captain of your own ship. That's knowing where you want to go. That's knowing that you have places to be, that you have people to serve, that you have lives to touch, that you have magic to create, that you are a force to be reckoned with. You are a life force. I am an anomaly. I get that. I'm not a bit. I used to shun at what people say. Byron Nelson cannot. You can. He's amazing, but he's not duplicatable. You're damn right. I'm not duplicatable. Nobody else is going to be Byron Nelson, can be Byron Nelson, or will be. Nor will they be you. And once you embrace that, and may you get this lesson, because it took me over 5 years of 6 years of tears as a Black man to get this, of having white, Asian, and Blacks have a conversation about how I'm not duplicatable. I'm like, but I thought I'm supposed to be duplicatable. I tried to force me into a box. I tried to force me into being what I thought everybody else wanted me to be. Do you know how painful it is to take a 6'4" man and put him in a 4x4 box? You have to cut up all his limbs. You have to tear his heart out. You have to rip up his emotions. You have to scramble his mind to create a 10-man toy like that. And my life force was too big. It's not possible. Because once I got permission, and if you've never been given permission, let me be the first to do so. I give you permission to be great. I give you permission to be you. I give you permission to be freaking amazing, unstoppable force of nature for the world to stop in awe and say, ah, it's possible because Catherine did it. It's possible because Rick became. It's possible because of who Sam was, is, and will always be. I give Tom permission not to change, but to become better at who you are. That's my morning training. Good morning. That's coffee. We are done for the morning.